It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. As always, we want to remind you the shop, this course, is being brought to you by none other than the fine folks over at Rocket Digital Media. It's the one-stop shop for all your digital marketing needs. You can look them up on Facebook at RDM Detroit, or you can hop on over to the website. That's rocketdigital.net, ROCKIT digital.net. And make sure when you're there, while you're there, you tell them the BSJ sent you. Joining me on the P program today is none other than my cat from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park. Yeah, it looked like him too. Missing rebounds behind the back, showing off, not doing much of nothing. Oh, okay. Well, he finished it off. Oh, okay. Number 10. Who you on that clip, brother? Is you number 10? The guy standing around
I didn't have a coach.
on the perimeter.
That's because I didn't have a coach.
Yeah.
The coach was
apparently you must have had some kind
the
of
coach was in Miami hanging out with his hurricane.
No, you had a coach. You had a coach. Yeah, because he had you on the court. Yeah. And on the other side of the ledger, we got my man from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Tell the people what you say.
Honored to be on. Looking forward to chopping it up with you both, as always, and in a non-major media type.
Yeah. How much did Brother Rich pay you to say all of that? Gee,
terms yet to be disclosed.
He's starting real early, huh? He's starting really early.
Oh yeah,
he's starting. Right. Yeah. You talking about? You must have really ate your Wheaties this morning. You've been on one since you got on.
What you mean? I eat nails for breakfast on a regular. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that payoff must have been real. What, 1995? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, the Major League Baseball. That's what we hear. We're gathered here today to discuss Major League Baseball. Wow! Yay! Yeah, right.
Now we're gonna have to get a Prince intro, dearly beloved.
Oh, Lord have mercy. The Major League Baseball All-Star game is maybe 8-9 days away now, right? Okay, so a few things that I jotted down here, in honor of, I don't know what All-Star game this is. I don't know, 240th or 151st. Who knows? Who cares?
Who knows?
But but baseball, Major League Baseball, of course. I had titled this Major League Baseball is back, or is it? But then I got to thinking as I read a few more stories leading up to today's P program, I'm saying to myself, my gosh, baseball is actually completely woeful. It has become just it's unbelievably woeful. And we start things off on today's P program with this. Double J will, of course, come to you first. Seeing how you keep fading in and out of the picture there. I don't know if you want to be here or not, but who knows?
Whoopsie.
All right. And of course, this is for both of y'all. Yeah. PTI. We all know PTI, Mike Wilbon, Tony Corn. I was over at the kid's house and watching PTI. Mike Wilbon says that the home run derby is nothing more than batting practice. Do you agree, Double J?
Wow. Yeah. Well, first, let's address the elephant in the room, which is you watching ESPN. All right.
I said I was with my kids and they were watching, and I was sitting next to them watching, and it happened to be on. Trust me, I did not have the remote.
Okay. Anyway, but
nice try. Go ahead. What were you saying?
It really is. Now the reality of it is that these are folks that you're able to choose who's throwing the ball. You generally have practiced this. I get it that practice and the real thing are two very different things, but to be able to hit for power and distance and do so consistently, and again, they've altered the rules throughout the years, of course, as well. There's still interest.
And speaking of which, you talk about rules. That's what we're going to go to next. Some of the rule changes for this season, including the postseason. But go ahead, continue.
And absolutely. And one thing we've noticed in the more recent history with this is that the volume and consistency of long balls is what typically has doomed a lot of these guys because you'll get too hot too soon. And, the sad part in all of this is almost like for NASCAR fans watching Pocono this afternoon.
Yeah,
and
I heard about that. I didn't get to see it.
You get a fuel saving race, as they call it, and which kind of takes a lot of the fireworks because nobody's excited to see somebody just stall out.
I know, exactly.
or head to pit road, with 2 laps left. They take someone out with you and cause a green white checkered, and then see how things how the dominoes fall.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that's kind of what we're seeing here as well, is that no one up to this point has said, you know what, this is good enough. 15 or 16 home runs into your first go round. I'm going to go ahead and intentionally bunt the remainder of my outs to save myself for the next round. And I think the moment that happens, we'll also see some additional changes from there as well. So again, I'm forecasting that we're going to reach that point because, again, not everybody that's involved in these things is, a perennial all-star that has,
that's
all
one thing that's
the girls,
good about
the cars, the houses. Yeah. And so they may need that check, or certainly go for it and say, I'm gonna play this thing the strategic way.
Yeah. And then you get to maybe see some names that you otherwise might not have been familiar with going forward for the remainder of the season. So that's pretty good. Brother Rich, to you, Mike Wilbon, of course, PTI's Mike Wilbon, says the home run derby is nothing more than batting practice. What do you say?
Absolutely correct assessment. It's always been that.
Please.
What else? What more is it? What more is it?
Okay.
You bring somebody out.
That was just too. Man, stop it. That was too fast. Oh, absolutely. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
You're honorable.
You bring somebody
objection.
out. You bring somebody out, and then you just ask them to. Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I did ask you the question. Oh, you froze
and
up
allow
on us,
me
man.
to just try to. That's literally what we're asking you to do in the home run derby. That's what the home run derby is.
Oh wow, you got to say that last
Tell
part.
me it's not that.
Your screen froze up.
Oh, I said that's what the home run derby is.
Oh, just batting practice?
Yes, it's batting practice.
Okay.
It's actually, you're asking somebody to just come and throw the ball to me in a manner in which I can hit it. And the issue is in the home run derby is to see how far we can hit it, not whether we can hit it, because we know they're going to make contact. What more is that than batting practice? That's just batting practice, because you're asking me to pretty much wiffle ball it to you. It's not like we're asking them to really try to hit as many home runs as you can. The home run derby, if it were like this, where the best pitchers had 1 or 2 pitches against the best hitters, and let's see how many home runs in that. You got 10 shots, and let's see how many you can have. So this pitcher got 2, that pitcher got 2, that pitcher got, and let's see the home run derby like that. But what the home run derby has always been just nothing but batting practice. That's all it is. You just standing up there and just,
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, and I'm okay. Literally, yes, it is. It's a little bit more than batting practice. Jeez, not that it wasn't even a senior moment. I couldn't get it out. But at the end of the day, I like your idea. Okay, put your Randy Johnson against your Ken Griffey Jr., so to speak. Okay, I'm with you on that. But here's what the thing about Wilbon and what Kornheiser actually was kind of alluding to when they were going back and forth with it was, let's put it in its proper perspective. It's an all-star game. So to call it the batting practice, what else do you want an all-star game? And I'll tell you one thing, even though Major League Baseball is really going down the tubes. I mean, about as fast as
it's pretty much almost finished. Yeah,
it's there. It's still a more the Major League Baseball All-Star game is still more compelling, and it's within all its components than the NFL Pro Bowl.
Well, that's just because the NFL Pro Bowl happens to be worse than that. That's not a good comparison. The NFL Pro Bowl has never been good. Let's be honest. The players themselves don't want to go. In the NFL, do not want to go to the Pro Bowl. They want to get selected because it adds money, only for the fact it adds money to their contract. But individually,
and it looks
the top
good on your
players
resume
always
too.
find a reason. Exactly. But the top players always find a reason why they are not able to go. And even though they keep it in Hawaii to try to entice them to come, and the players still are not interested in going.
Yeah, well, that's a story for another day. We definitely might have to make that a topic. Why the NFL Pro Bowl, as big as the Shield is, why that's one component of the Shield is just C-re-appy, as in crappy. Double J, but do you think in the home run derby here, do you think, as far as Brother Richard mentioned distance and how far it will go, do you think the fact that it's a course field will make it more palatable? Because the ball is going to travel farther.
This isn't new. Again,
they moved it from Atlanta, remember?
That's right. And so we've seen Coors Field in decades past, yesteryear, if you will. I think that was during the Todd Helton era in Colorado. And
Todd Helton was a good player, by the way.
Oh, yeah. No disrespect. Shout out to Todd. But so, again, we know that in theory, just because of the climate, we should get the fans should get their money's worth in that respect. But to add to Brother Rich's kind of suggestion and think tanking this, they need to do more. At one point in time, they had a little bit of a target out there regarding kind of charitable donations. But
whatever happened to that?
They need to, I think somebody hit it a few times and maybe that was, kind of like that hole-in-one free car. And then the next year,
or the free throw,
there's no more free car.
Yeah.
Now it's like a $5,000 check or something. They change it. You get stung once. And but nevertheless, they need to do more because, again, if these are professionals and you're able to coordinate who's throwing the ball to you at what velocity, because, again, you've practiced. You didn't just show up. And that part of it isn't randomized in any way, shape, or form other than your opponent.
Gotcha.
You should then be given some kind of point system in the outfield. Again, when this plays a part into the dynamics of what makes each Major League Baseball park unique. And additionally, by doing so and diversifying, what it can do is then incorporate the fans in a way that they otherwise, would have been just hopeful. Because again, you could sit there in left field and everyone's hitting the right field and you may still have a good time, but you wasted, $200 on tickets, another 75 on beverages, and you didn't get a single ball hit your way. That kind of stinks on ice, if you ask me. Now, if you say in the knockout rounds, you have to hit left, right, center. You get one wild where you can hit it wherever, and that counts.
Make it a bit more challenging. Yeah,
absolutely. Because this is where the prospect of them being a professional athlete and the element and the harsh reality that it is very much so batting practice. And believe me, I sat there just a few weeks ago at Comerica Park, and Aiden, my 10-year-old, got a ball because Aaron Judge literally was pinpointing where he wanted to hit it to. So I don't want to hear it can't be done. It absolutely can, but only the real
Reggie
one
Jackson, Mr. October.
Yeah, you got to Babe Ruth it now these days.
Yeah, right. Call your shot. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think hitters, major league hitters, especially the ones most notable, are good enough. You're right to put the ball where they'd like to play. If a quarterback,
absolutely,
I don't know if that's a good comparison. But yeah, I'm with you. I think they could place it too. Let's talk about some of these rule changes, Brother Rich. The expanded postseason is gone, of course. What was it last year because of COVID? Was it 16 teams or something like that or whatever?
And that's a shame, first of all.
Yeah, okay. Double headers are once again featuring 2 7-inning games. I was not familiar with that. Hey,
that did happen.
I don't know why, but okay. Hold on, one more here because we're gonna go over that double headers one. Then the extra innings rule. There's a lot of talk still going on in regards to this. Beginning in the 10th, a runner is placed on second to begin each half inning. Can you say manufactured drama? I can.
Yes,
it feels awkward to me somewhat. That whole idea. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Back to this double headers thing. Were you familiar with that, brother? The double headers featuring 2 7-inning games? Is that always been the case?
I thought I was not familiar with it going forward. I was not familiar with that. No.
So Double J, help me out here. double headers. Since when did they start being 7 innings? I thought baseball was 9 innings, period.
No, that was just a coronavirus thing. That's all this was. This was just a corona. It was only for during the corona. I didn't know what I'm saying. I knew about it during that time. I didn't know they were going to keep it going forward because during coronavirus, that's what they were doing to limit the time the players would have to be on the field and that kind of exposure, if you will. Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, if you're a fan and you buy a ticket to a game and it happens to be a double header, you can get the second one. You won't have to be there till 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the idea, to get you out there before 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, but this extra innings rule, we just said baseball is woeful. How, Brother Rich? How does this help baseball?
It doesn't. It's not going to help baseball. Here's the problem. Sports like baseball do not want to come face to face with the core issue that they have. They have an older fan base that's dying off, and they're unable to attract a new fan base. And here's their core issue in their inability to attract a new fan base. They're no longer homegrown talent. Most of these players are from the Dominican Republic. See? And people don't follow people in that, a guy that grew up from your hometown. Can you name any baseball player in the NFL, in the Major League Baseball from Cleveland? Can you name one from Warren, Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, Detroit? Can you name any American baseball player? I can't name any baseball player that's from New York. I know the Yankee players, but you can't think about who's a player from your neighborhood or somebody you know or somebody I don't know any players from Washington, D.C. where I have friends. I don't know any players from Chicago where I have family and friends. I don't know any players from Philadelphia. So who's following baseball? Baseball is not a home. It is no longer in the. This is about to happen to all of these sports in the name of greed. They tried to do this. Double J and I we talked about this when they tried to do this in soccer overseas by trying to gobble up and try to reach outside of your fan base. And the fan base of soccer in Europe rebelled, and they're now working to kick the ownership out. This is what baseball did. They wanted to get. That's what that was about. Yes, absolutely. They took the game of baseball from the inner cities. They took the game of baseball from being able to be played in schoolyards, and now it's played in Dominican Republic. And they recruit these guys over there, and they're not connected to any part of the community. And to the degree that the American fan base is not attached to teams anymore like we were. Players move around too much, except in football. Football is the last bastion of holding on to your team brand. That's why they so protect the shield. But in terms of sports, our players, we more follow players in baseball, players in basketball. So if Aaron Judge, I like the Los Angeles Dodgers. But if Mookie Betts moves and I become a Mookie Betts fan,
that's apparent. You're wearing the hat.
Yeah, well, exactly. I like the New York Yankees, so I know who Aaron Judge is, but same thing, same thing.
Yeah.
This is the problem that they're having in baseball. Yeah.
Oh, and then one more thing too. I forgot to mention this as well. The roster size will increase to 28 players in September. No limit to how many pitchers can be on a team's roster. Double J, what do you say to that? Yeah, that's what I was kind of like, huh? Wait a minute. I had to read that about 4 or 5 times. You remember? I'm going to read it again, actually.
Yeah.
The roster size will increase to 28 players in September. And there's no limit to how many pitchers can be on a team's roster.
Well, look, if you're in contention, I totally understand that. Because naturally, or more importantly, I would say if you clinched, or even if you are on the opposite side of that, where you want to get a true evaluation of the talent that you have regarding your prospects at the highest level. And usually your fan base at that point is kind of also making a little bit of a claim to, similarly. However, given some of the elements that you've already identified, such as the 7 innings and having an expanded roster as a whole, which is, again, that part of it is normal, the September call-ups. But the sometimes there's
Yeah.
leagues that just they do certain things in the best interest of the players, and at the same time you've almost
You're doing too much.
Yeah, you've completely forgotten about the fans.
It's
That
overkill.
Facts.
Exactly.
and so even generally from a business perspective, I'm all usually for something that would make financial sense. This stuff doesn't. I mean, again, a shorter game. This sounds like if LeBron was a baseball was a pitcher, and we've seen this type of stuff, I would totally understand. But there's no one in baseball that has been clamoring for the changes that they've made, and they've just continued to do so. And I feel like they're throwing so much stuff at the wall and trying to determine that what sticks, that by the time that something does, it's rotted and deteriorated, or everything else like around it certainly has. As Brother Rich pointed out, the other than Curtis Granderson, I don't know any other player that's from Chicago.
Okay, so here, let me throw this out here. So does Major League Baseball even have a union anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Oh, okay, because I didn't know. You know what I'm
But
saying?
they're only concerned with the length of contracts and the per diems and how much we can puff up these contracts. They have selective issues. That
they're selective about what they gonna represent.
Yeah.
So to speak. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I mean,
all that
at
other
that
stuff,
point,
that's
I mean, think about it. It's this game, unlike any of the others, does not require a star player making hundreds of millions of dollars within the terms of their contract to be actively involved in every single play. The same way that, again, hockey is very similarly because of the lines, and very few are like the NFL as an example, offensively or defensively. Even that claim can be made. But the NBA is on an island, and soccer is also the same, I would say, as well, that you have to be active, like on the field or on the court at all times. Baseball, you don't necessarily have to. Miguel Cabrera he sits on the bench all game long and then just gets up every time, once every 3 innings with the Tigers. Yeah. And then, is getting paid, I think, 30 some odd million this year. Now he's done great things. Yeah, right. I know. Hey, why not? Right.
And speaking of hockey, shout out to my man Frank Wiley down there. It used to be Channel 5 News down there in Tampa, to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, baby. I think they're gonna do it all for my man Feet Rank. Yes, sir. That's one more time for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, pulling it off.
You notice that's a nod to a Florida team. Double J. That's his way of
absolutely. It wasn't. It wasn't shocking. All right. I mean, you said notice that's
spoiler alert. Clear water isn't clear water.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and on a moment of I don't even know what to say here. I saw a story here on Google News, I believe it was, about the apartment building that collapsed.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah. That's terrible.
Whatnot, man.
So
it's a great place.
Yeah, it's in Surfside.
Yeah, it's a great place to visit. Florida is in general, but them sinkholes, man. I don't know if I could live there, man. I'm telling you the truth, and I don't know that that's what it is. So don't get me saying I'm not here to say that's what happened, because my gosh, people say barbershop. Oh, Lord. Barbershop Jay said X, Y, and Z. And no, I didn't say that. I just saw the story and just thought, man, my heart went out, man, because if I'm not mistaken, there are people that are still trapped.
Yeah.
In the building.
They're beyond that at this point.
Yeah, well,
they gave us 159 people missing since the collapse.
Since it happened, yeah.
Yeah, between that and the folks in the hot air balloon in Albuquerque, which was just a disaster. I had seen someone had posted a picture of that thing taking off, and just kind of
not my cup of tea. Hot air balloons. I got a cousin. Dre went up in one time.
Oh,
no. It's not for me either.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, the closest I come to that kind of stuff is when I was driving trucks. I was going across the Skyway Bridge in the middle of January. It was a snowstorm.
Oh,
And the
whoa,
guy,
yeah, that's
yeah, and there was a
serious one
truck
right
in
there.
front of me. Yeah. And his whole axle fell out. I mean, I'm telling you, them
Whoa.
underwear, excuse me for the visual, but I had to burn them. I could never wear them under. It wasn't even about washing them. It wasn't about woolite. It wasn't about it wasn't about no gain, no fabric softener. It wasn't about none of that.
It
You know what
wasn't
I'm
only
saying?
the skid
Yeah.
marks weren't only left on the
Oh,
concrete
man,
that
I'm telling
day
you,
on the
when I got across
asphalt.
that bridge, man, I had to pull over. You know, and by the time I was taking some at the time I was delivering some elevator parts up to Westchester,
Oh, okay.
Illinois.
So it was real
And
heavy.
yeah, and man, I'm telling you, the guy was like, you're an hour late. I was like, yeah, and you know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do? Tell my mother? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Yeah, whatever.
Say,
I said, you
buddy, if only you knew, man.
yeah, if only you knew.
What's up, what it took
Man,
for you
and
to
you
get
know,
here.
yeah, and you riding in a truck across any bridge, but the Skyway Bridge, you can see over the sides. I was like, oh no, who said this? Who made this? Yeah, but again, my hearts go out to those people down in Florida and in the hot air balloon, man. It's unfortunate. But
Yeah, from Miami's own 7th floor crew, unofficial member.
All righty then. Okay. Brother Rich, could you please somehow, some way explain to me the Houston Astros? They got caught cheating and they still winning.
Well, here's the thing.
I thought they were winning because they were cheating.
But here's the thing. If I cheat, I still got the records from when I cheat. The players still got the same tendencies. The pitchers on teams still got the same. I didn't destroy my records of cheating. I was caught cheating, right? So my cheating. Here's an organization that got caught cheating. They paid no penalty, none at all. That won the title. Right, this is in the book, so this goes back to our conversation we had on this very same program several programs ago when we talked about steroids in sports. How are you allowing this measure of hypocrisy that you have awarded your national trophy to a team that is convicted of stealing? That's akin to saying, if I go out and rob a bank here in LA and I get away with it, but you find out afterwards, all I need to say is, okay, you caught me. Okay, let's make a deal, right? And you let me go. No, of course, I'm not going to get away with that. I'm not going to rob a bank for all the people listening.
Please.
But just if I did, if a person was silly enough to do something like that, and he or she admitted to the crime afterwards, were caught with the goods in their possession, would the state turn the blind eye? Absolutely not. So baseball is endearing itself to whom doing that? You're not endearing yourself to other fan bases. Other fan bases are saying, well, my team might as well cheat as well. So how do we know that Houston is not cheating right now?
Okay, all right. I didn't even.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't even think about that.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I'm okay. So okay, well there it is.
If I got caught doing something and I paid
I
no
give you
penalty,
this button begrudgingly.
Oh wow. Wow.
Begrudgingly.
It's a new day. I got a clap.
Yeah. It won't happen again. I'm sure of that. I hadn't even thought of that. You know, I'm sitting here looking at the standings and I'm like, so did they even need to cheat when they cheated, or what's going on here? Double J. I mean, what do you? Oh, okay. You raise your hand. Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I should have known. Peanut gallery.
I didn't hear you. Yeah. What were you saying? Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, these guys are, the Tigers are not very good. All right. They've shown some signs of life with the prospects that they have, but they're almost doing too well for me. I would prefer they,
But my Indians are only 2 games back of the White Sox. Oh, sorry. That was bad timing. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, anywho, the Astros seem to struggle against the Tigers, and I don't know why that is. Again, there was a blown lead yesterday, and the Tigers won again today. So just seeing that season series, and I don't want to discredit Dusty Baker, okay? I think he's someone that had stepped into the role and has performed very well. A lot of these players aren't the same players from that team specifically. There are still plenty that are,
Yeah, Correa's still on the team, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's still
and
enough.
He's one of the main characters, if I'm not mistaken, in the whole ordeal or whatnot. Yeah. Okay.
The interesting part to me is exactly the element that Brother Rich pointed out, which is you got caught doing something. And a lot of the times in life, failure is something that is fundamentally necessary to be successful. And I'm taking this a completely different direction with these guys and suggesting that maybe rather than it coming from the bats themselves, it's coming from the arms this time around.
Huh? Oh no, you got it. Oh no, you got it. Yeah, no, you got me on that.
If you haven't,
I mean, that's not hard to do. See how I have bouts of senility.
But they've always had good pitching. They've always had good pitching. When have they not had good pitching, Double J?
Well, I mean, if I got
they've always had
it's
good
just
pitching.
sweat. It's just sweat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. Have they?
And so I have no doubt that they could be, because now remember now what he's alluding to. Baseball is checking pitches. They know now that
we were getting ready to go to that next.
The baseball. Okay. But you forced us to go there because, like he's saying, it's just sweat. That's what they're saying. It's just sweat.
Okay, because now, well, seeing how we just got there before I could get there. That was the next one. Is there any fix to this whole idea of checking pitchers for illegal substances? I mean, the optics of surrounding this looks terrible. It's bad. That's really what prompted me to even put together today's program. I started there.
Well, I'll say this. You can't do what Brother Rich suggested based on what's going on with that regarding the All-Star game. There you go. So continue.
Yeah, this whole deal, because Angel Hernandez, his name popped up in this whole checking somebody. He was checking somebody for whatever. Yeah, that's the thing that, I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. You all, like you said, to your point, Brother Rich, I'm not giving you a button though. I said only one. That they can still be cheating. It's an allowed thing now. It's an acceptable norm.
It's allowed to cheat. It's an acceptable norm now.
Okay, but we taking a stand against steroids.
Yes,
and pitchers doctoring the ball.
Yeah,
you're talking out of both sides of your face. That's what that's the part that gets me. I don't know how are you doing that?
It's the billionaires
and
telling the millionaires.
Who's Garrett Cole or Cole Garrett? Am I saying that right?
Garrett
the Yankees pitcher. He was the one. He was like, "Look, man, He said it's tough out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But you know what?
It's tough out there. Yeah, come on.
I'm just picking a few. But let me say this. When I read the article and why he was kind of explaining, he wasn't really admitting to, but it really was hard not to. He did something. Okay. But just think about when a pitcher is out, and I know this particularly in Cleveland. This is why a lot of the Indians games at the start of a season will be scheduled away from Cleveland, because Cleveland's weather is bipolar in April when a baseball season starts. It's snowing outside.
Right.
So to his point, though, or I thought was an interesting point, it's hard for me to do what I need to throw that curveball or that backup slider when it's 35 degrees outside as opposed to 78 and sunny.
I don't know. That's not the most entitled thing I've heard.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. You get it.
No, but here's why that plays into but here's why that plays into what he's saying, Double J. Listen to why that matters, Double J. Listen to why that matters.
I need to cheat.
Because because here's why. Here's why I need to cheat.
I need a shot in my behind so I can do that.
Yes.
It's hard out here.
Yes, here's why. Here's why they need to cheat, Double J. Here's why they need to cheat, because what they're saying is this: that to compete,
they can't keep up with everybody
Barry
else.
Bonds said, that's exactly right. Because what did Lance Armstrong say? Why did Lance Armstrong say he started to do drug.
Yes,
with the
and I
Tour de
and I
France.
saw
He
that.
said because
Yeah.
everybody else was doing it, and if you were not willing to do that, you were not going to be able to compete at that level. You're not going to tell me.
So who's the
people
whistleblower?
People, no, but of course, the whistleblower is the guy who, even when he cheats, it doesn't work for him as well because he's not as gifted, and he's now angry because you added to your little gift, you supported your little gift with a little supplemental thing, and it's technically quote unquote illegal. He did it; it didn't work for him as well. Who told
And
on
he
Lance
knew-
Armstrong? There were people who were doing steroids with him. They shot the dope in their behind with him and told on him later. Why? Because of money, because they weren't getting the kind of publicity, the kind of marketing deals that he got, and there was some jealousy there, and so they told on him. Not that I agree with Lance Armstrong or whatever, but the issue becomes, if we're going to say that we support cheating here, right? What was the issue with Tom Brady when they were in New England? People talked about they got caught cheating. Now, whether you believe in Deflategate or you believe they recorded people or you believe this, their whole tenure as a franchise has attached to it a segment of the population that believes, man, they cheated to win that thing. You say the Patriots name in any bar in America, that's what a non-Patriot fan from any fan base will say, man, they cheated to win them wins.
Colts fans.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let me tell you something else about the whistleblower, though. The whistleblower knows after the first Tour de France, I'm not gonna be able to do what these guys do, even though I'm juicing. So let me hurry and start getting my book rights. The whistleblower is going. He already determined he's gonna write a book about the whole ordeal when
absolute
it's all said and done. That's what the whistleblower does.
But that's what we talk about on this program often, about motivations and where the financial motivations, where that, or just the financial compensation sits in all of that. And I think this is where we've lost beyond the grassroots elements.
Oh, now you're talking about Scottie Pippen. Oh, sorry. Did I throw that out there? Yeah.
I that one I have to.
Stop it. He's so he's terrible. Yeah, he's doing anything.
Who's worse?
We talking about the whistleblower, the guy who's gonna write the book. Scotty got a book out, so now all of a sudden, me and Mike didn't get along. I'm sorry, we're talking baseball, but anyway. Well, Mike did play.
We've always known that Scottie Pippen was very insanely jealous of Michael Jordan. We've always understood that.
The whistleblower. Now he's blowing the whistle.
Yeah.
Unguarded, whatever the name of the book is. Unguarded.
Are you reading that? Our host? That's
one I will not. No, that's one I will not read.
Why? Why? You think it's entirely out of spite? Entirely reactionary?
No, he's telling some truth. He's telling some truth. Jordan was and is a difficult personality. But the issue is he's doing it. There is some spite why he's doing it. He definitely is doing it. Scottie Pippen has been a laughing stock since he retired from the NBA.
Well, and there's been
in private life, he's been a frigging joke. So he needs to take that angst and anxiety and anger out on the person whose shadow he's lived in his entire life. That's a fact.
Let
me
say this too.
Nobody says Scottie Pippen before they say Michael Jordan. You say Michael and Scottie. You don't say Scottie and Michael. You say Michael and Scottie.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. For a dude who made $100 million, right? Just from I believe it was just shy of $100 million from the contracts in Houston and Portland. He stayed tight-lipped about for the most part. There was something that we had watched.
Because he knew he was going to write a book.
No, and I don't believe that. I believe he.
You want to run that by me again? You don't believe that?
Here's the thing.
You don't believe barbershop?
Why didn't the book come out? Look, they've been done for 20 some odd, almost 20 years.
Well, from my understanding, he felt slighted about the whole Last Dance ordeal.
Well, and that was the thing, the alternate perspective. So if Michael would have never went out there and said what he said about certain things, I believe Scottie would have taken all of that to the grave, unless Larsa had really left him and took half, or more than half. And beyond all the pride that she's probably taken from him. And the point that I'm going with on this is that he is held back, and I would almost say that that's a character trait of his, because a lot of the things he doesn't speak on. We've seen him avoid kind of going that route and taking the high road too often. So the book itself, I'm more intrigued on it because I think you're going to get a very raw opinion that he isn't going to be concerned with holding back this time around. And it's entirely because of what Michael did and how he went about it. And so that's where the intrigue actually exists for me, because we're not going to hear a piece of it. We're going to end up hearing all of it. Now, if as you alluded to, though, the struggle and all of that, despite me saying, those last few sentences here, is that how many people care about Scotty's point of view?
Oh, all of the Brown apologists.
Of course they do.
Of course. I mean, my gosh, anybody, of course.
Well, what does he say about what did he say about Braun? What did he say about Braun?
No. He's saying in other words, there are people who are going to be reading Scotty's book, and I'm saying those are going to be the Brown apologists. Anything to use to say that Mike ain't what, you know what I'm saying, what LeBron is, and so on and so forth.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And plus, it's a whole bunch of them. But
again, going back to baseball here.
Yeah. I'm talking about the whistleblower, because again, and regardless of the sport,
who was the whistleblower here? I mean, Garrett Cole pretty much snitched on himself. That was he got thrown the question and failed miserably. And so outside of that, though, who was the Conseco regarding the pitchers? Was it the batters?
I don't know,
because I don't know. There's no one publicly that has came out and said, hey, this is what these guys are doing. That's retired or was a failure in any way, shape, or form. Because it wasn't like Conseco was horrible. No, what Jose said, they tried to paint him as a malcontent, like the NBA did with Tim Donaghy. Jose was like, look here, I'm telling y'all this, and apparently we see that he wasn't lying.
I don't know if you all remember this or recall this. I don't know if you all recall this. One of the reasons why there's some people are saying they did not punish the Houston Astros is because the Astros, when they investigated them, they told them pretty much that there were other teams in Major League Baseball that were doing similar things, so that it was not just supposed to be the Astros. And in fact, and indeed, the Dodgers were one of the teams that were mentioned. The Dodgers were mentioned, and so they were. There were reports that the rest of it was swept under the rug, and so it was an agreed upon. That's why they were never really punished ultimately, because were they to punish them, they would have had to open the investigation and punish other teams,
and they would have been an entire.
This has been reported.
Wow,
absolute fact. A bad black eye on baseball. This is a fact. Yeah, the sport is.
I mean, that's
they know the sport is dirty. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So, and this is why I've thrown it out here on this program multiple times that they need to just open it up. Meaning, let people do what they're going to do. Let them sign a waiver saying you're not going to hold the league responsible. Look, we're not going to supply you with anything, and let it be the wild, wild west.
But guess what happens though? All the way back to the beginning of this thing. Then how do you convince a young kid to play the sport?
Well, that's where I was going to kind of intervene here.
Because the Little League World Series, the College World Series, you know what I mean? Those
because you can. Here's why. How you could do that, Jay? Because you could more enforce the rules at that level than you can when you are talking about professional sports, where you're paying people money. And here's what you're talking about. You're telling a baseball player, my career depends on what I do in these next 10 pitches, these next 10 at-bats. And somebody tells me in the locker room, man, take this. I took this. You asked one of your vets, man, I see you playing every day now. When you was hurt a couple of times, and the vet just says to you, look, young boy, I just take this little thing. You sure you down? And then he tell you just take this little supplement, and before you know it, you understand that it improves your performance and it gotten you a better deal, and you.
We lost you.
Here, it was something I gave some thought, over the weekend. was the elements that baseball has is very monopolized, which is as Brother Rich pointed out, that there's a lot of folks, a lot of the origins of a lot of the players, and they're coming from different parts of the globe. But what a lot of people don't understand is that the same way we see in soccer with these academies is the same way those academies exist in those same countries that are owned and founded by these Major League Baseball teams. They have their scouts. This is not we're fishing in some gigantic pond, because if that was the case, the U.S. would have already won the World Cup multiple times.
Yeah, right,
if we could scout
Absolute
in that manner.
facts.
And so what I started to ask myself over the weekend was, why has no one put a spotlight on the fact that the Yankees own this farm system or this baseball factory in Venezuela or in the Dominican Republic, and these kids know that's who I want to go and play for, or I have to do everything I can to get over here, and that's by any means necessary, which could mean defect, could mean lie about my age.
Absolute facts.
And so to say that integrity exists in the sport of baseball, it doesn't. And so that's why I continue to ask about motivations, because as you've seen, I don't believe in the back of my mind that we couldn't equally be as competitive but the conclusion that these greedy teams and franchises are coming to is that I can get cheap labor overseas and form that academy that's rather than invest into a grassroots team that very much has this AAU already set of playing field for baseball players. I was just with a group in Petoskey for a tournament from Port Huron, halfway across the state. And so if you're in the inner city, you generally can't afford that. I wouldn't have been able to afford that opportunity, let alone to pay monthly. That is arguably a Cadillac payment for, just for you to play baseball. That's not going to happen. So that's why they've done what they've done. And this is why I continue to ask about what the motivations are, not only in baseball, but in all sports, because these kids are seeing checks. They're not seeing legacy.
You just said it.
But we have to change the mentality, man, because otherwise people will sell their souls for that. We know what people will do for that. Just look what happens around Christmas.
Yeah.
But this is why this topic is I believe titled Jay chose MLB woes, because baseball is in trouble because of exactly what you're talking about, Double J. Baseball is not coming out of this anytime soon. Baseball is going further in the headlong dive with this. And in fact, and indeed, what they believe is if they make the game more gimmicky now, that it'll somehow attract a younger fan base, because what they talk about in baseball is not grassroots issues like that. They talk about issues of the length of games, and the distance of the pitching mound, and the weight of the baseball, and how many pitches are going over the fence.
Trivial stuff, really.
They're talking about the trivial issues as opposed to the hardcore issues that prompts a subject like this, where we're talking about the woes of what it was once the national pastime that is fading quickly to be a pastime.
Yes, and not only that, I said it from day one. Good stuff as always, fellas. We can ready to wrap it on up and get on up out of here so y'all can go watch that game tonight. But at the end of the day, I've said it before I ever even thought about ever doing this. When we was having sports discussions in the shop. When I was 10 years old, it was okay for me to, when let's say the Browns lost, to be mad Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday after that Sunday, because I didn't understand life just yet. But once I started to really understand life and put sports in its proper perspective, and I read up on Arnold Rothstein, I surmised that from that moment on, I'm done being invested. I'm not, me personally, I don't knock nobody to do, but I'm not buying jerseys with that guy's name on it. I'll buy one and put my name on it. You get what I'm trying to say? If I want to represent or just have something colorful to wear with a hat that day or something like that. But I'm done investing all of that into that or whatnot, because at the end of the day, no sporting event is completely left up to chance. When I read the story of Arnold Rothstein, and that guy said when asked by a reporter, I forget what the question was, but his response was, "Man, are you serious? We can fix anything but the weather. This is 1919 we talking about." He said this. So think this 2021, how much more advanced we are when it comes to that. So that kind of stuff don't go away. The more advanced you become, the more craftier they get at. We've had Jose Canseco, we've had Tim Donaghy. Go look up Arizona State, for instance. My goodness, Arizona State. I think they've had problems with basketball, football, baseball, the whole nine. Point shaving. They got a history going back to the 80s. They always are in the spotlight when it comes to some nefarious activities or whatever the case may be.
Boston College.
Yes, Boston
College. They had one of the most notorious point shaving schemes in history of basketball.
Oh, and what's the guy's name? He played basketball for them. They did a story on him.
Yes,
he was like an ESPN 30 for 30. Christian something's his name. And he talked about it.
That was very
man. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's just interesting how a person, all these people with windows and no mirrors, be first want to talk about somebody else's. How you can't call me a cheater and you cheating? You know what I'm saying? And then want to stand up for our fathers 400 years ago and man, we the people, man, get out of here with that. Do you know what? Boo! Boo! That's what that is, man. Get out of here, man. Stop it, man. So anyway, at the end of the day, I think we all in agreement here. Baseball is in trouble. It has been, and it's getting worse. It's going right down the toilet as we speak. All right, fellas, that was some good stuff. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the StreamYard Network. Double J, we got to talk about maybe changing venues or whatnot, but we'll get to that. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, Vlogger, or however the case may be, as well as the shop's Facebook fan page. And if that don't work, Google it. For my mans, Be Rich, Double J, and all those who follow and support us, we say thank you. I'm Barbershop Jay, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla!
Go Brown.